Well, the Obama administration is now promising to raise the amount of funding given to research labs to study physical scientists, a move that would reverse a 25-year trend. And that is a trend that has seen the amount of spent in this field of research cut by more than 50%. Today, the director of DOE's Argonne National Laboratory was here in town in Washington discussing the best way to use that promised federal funding. Clean Sky's Lee Patrick Sullivan talked to Director Eric Isaacs earlier today. And Lee, he says when it comes to R&D, we need more focus on the D in that equation, correct?
Yeah, that's right, Tyler. Director Isaacs says the U.S. does a great job researching, but when it comes to bringing a product to market, we've lost a little bit of our edge. Now, we pointed to the large research departments of Bell Labs, IBM, and Xerox, where smart people would spend years trying to develop a product. Now, Isaacs used to work at Bell Labs, and he pointed to how just 3 scientists at Bell Labs developed the transistor and transformed an economy. Now, he spoke at the National Press Club today, calling for a return to those days, saying if we are to find a new source of energy, being able to bring it to market at a price consumers will like is essential.
I think if you look at the way things have evolved, what we don't have anymore is the larger companies that can afford to invest in the very long-term, high-risky stuff with the idea that most won't work out, a few things would work out, and then they convert those into technology. What I think is missing today is that connection between the very most basic work and the actual application into a technology.
Do we have to rethink the way we bring products to market on such a large scale? Because we don't have the AT&Ts, the General Motors, and the IBMs that we had back in the 60s and 70s, where they had hundreds of thousands of employees. Companies are much smaller now. Do we have to rethink maybe having whole sectors team up to bring products to market?
I would agree with you. I think we went from a model where a lot of these companies were vertically integrated to a Cisco model, right? I mean, the model where Cisco, which worked very well and still works, seems to work, where a company didn't have to do its own research but could buy startup companies, worked very well in California, Silicon Valley. But in a way, we've been feeding off of that seed corn. Those startup companies actually were not very basic research. Those startup companies that Cisco was buying were actually based on a lot of the research done in academia and the government and the industrial labs that were able to do that long-time high risk. So if you ask me, yes, we do need to reformulate the ecosystem a little bit to connect up all these pieces. We have them. I believe we have them, and we're pretty strong in all of those pieces, but we haven't yet fully worked out the full value chain, how to work those together.
Now, Isaacs also says the United States has to get back to leading in next generation technology, not just chasing current technology. Case in point, a lithium-ion batteries being developed for cars. The Argonne Labs Transportation Unit is working on lithium batteries, but not lithium-ion, the yet-to-be-developed lithium-air batteries, something Isaac says could be the answer to electric car range anxiety.
So lithium-air battery, actually, it's called air because it actually uses oxygen, in effect, to burn lithium. So you're actually using the full energy associated with combining lithium and oxygen. You don't get to do that in a battery, in a standard lithium battery. It's more of a chemical process. This is also chemistry too, but you get to take an oxygen and a lithium and combine them, and when combining them it releases energy. You get to use all that energy in effect. The full amount of energy available in lithium. So the way to think about it is a lithium battery, the lithium-ion battery that we're using in the next generation automobiles, doesn't get to use the full energy associated with the lithium atoms, whereas this takes the full amount of energy associated with that lithium atom and uses it in delivering the automobile, delivering the motor for the automobile.
And Tyler, getting all the possible energy out of lithium is something designers of these batteries have been chasing. If a lithium air battery can be brought to market, it could have the range of a full tank of gasoline. Now we're talking 400 to 500 miles here, Tyler. Right now it's just a theory on paper, and there still has to be advancements in storage materials and membranes that separate lithium from oxygen. But Isaac says it is possible, and it's something that Argonne Labs are trying to figure out.
Well, Lee, let's talk about the time frame here. You referred to one of Secretary Chu's favorite topics, his time at Bell Labs, and Director Isaacs talked about the time that they had then, years to put these together. How long does he say this would take to figure out under the current structure of this?
Well, there's a lot of ifs here, Tyler. If they can get the money, and if they can get the smart people to join the Argonne Labs and not going to the private sector, he says that he can do it within 15 to 20 years.
That's a big draw that Bell Labs had. Lee Patrick Sullivan, thank you very much.